Welcome to the Art of Action Figures. On this episode, I am bringing you an in-depth look at something pretty unique. This is the SH Figuarts Xuan figure from Fog Hill of 5 Elements. Before we get into that, just a quick update on videos that I'm currently working on that will be coming to the channel very soon, and one that I am no longer working on. I guess we'll get that one out of the way first. I was planning and working on an ultimate 2024 Mandalorian comparison video between the Black Series Glavis Ringworld figure, the SH Figuarts Season 3, and the Mafex Mandalorian 2.0 number 200 figure that just came out. Long story short, I was deeply disappointed in the Mafex figure. The looks, the accessories, and the attention to detail are perfection, yet somehow they really dropped the ball assembling a working action figure. No torso articulation in 2024 isn't a good look. Import that is stiffer than Black Series is not a good look. I just don't want to spend time on a video that just makes everyone, including myself, a little upset. Go read the community post for my full thoughts on the Mandalorian Showdown. Summarized version, I'm really happy with the SHF. I know it's not everyone's mind's eye Mandalorian as far as the deco and the proportions, but it moves incredibly well. It's very sturdy and stable, and that's what's important to me in collecting. Black Series Glavis Ringworld holds its own, but does not hold its accessories. The Mafex is just a gorgeous brick. Go check the community post if you want my full breakdown of the 2024 Mandalorian figures. Second, I am going to be doing a video on the Mafex Tiger Stripe Wolverine. Finally, the last video that I have been working on for a month is my SHF Dragon Ball Most Wanted Top 10 Bucket List and Wish List. Difference being bucket list is top 10 figures if they were the last figures that SHF was going to make for the line. And then the wish list is top 10 figures assuming it's going to go forever and they'll make everything. Turns out I have a lot of ideas when it comes to my absolute favorite first and foremost line that I collect, and it's taking a lot longer than I thought to put them together. Part of the reason I'm doing this video now is, one, I don't think I've seen any reviews for this figure. Two, there's some interesting stuff going on with it. And three, I know nothing about the source material here, and I know that can turn some people off, but for me and what I want to work on right now, I could use a little less context baggage on a video. So this is going to be a pretty dry review. I may talk a little bit about aesthetically where this character fits in my collection, why I ended up getting it despite not having watched the series. I do want to get around to watching it at some point, but yeah, I just needed a break from the ultimate SHF Dragon Ball video. Definitely stay tuned if you're interested in that, but in the meantime, here is a clean, dry, whatever you want to call it, review of the SH Figuarts Xuan from Fog Hill of 5 Elements. My interest in the series started when I heard it was similar to Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, as I mentioned, I have not seen the series, but I have seen some of the fight scenes just in isolation, and they are very, very impressive. Great sound design, really unique animation style that reminds me kind of the flashbacks in Legend of Korra, where they explain the origins of the Avatar. One of the very, very small reasons I wanted to get this figure is if there's even the slightest possibility that buying this figure signals to Tamashii that there's interest in an Avatar: The Last Airbender Figuarts line, I'm going to do that, because that is my number one absolute dream figure line. Avatar: The Last Airbender, I have such a love and fondness for. Now, I don't really know where the similarities to Avatar end with Fog Hill of Five Elements. Is it just the art style and the fact that they have elemental magic? Maybe. This character, I am not even sure I pronounced his name correctly, so let me know if that's wrong. I don't think it's said like Xuan, even though it kind of looks like it. I think it's Xuan. But must say it is not my native tongue. My understanding of this character is he is sort of the master of the element of fire. And that might be obvious now that you see him and have that information. Yeah, this is just a gorgeous looking figure that I was interested in as soon as Tamashii dropped hints that they were releasing figures for this series. It was already on my to-watch list because of The Last Airbender, and so then proceeded to hear nothing about this line. Somebody brought up that this was region exclusive, not even being sold in Japan, let alone the US. I managed to track it down on AliExpress, which use at your own risk, I will say. Very glad that I saw this figure was available on there, because I haven't seen it anywhere else. Not any of the usual import sites, definitely not BBTS and the like. So it came in at like $53 US. All right, starting with the box, we have your typical Figuarts cutaway window at the front with the promotional image of the figure in sort of an action pose here. SH Figuarts, Fog Hill of Five Elements, the name of the character, your holographic authenticity stickers, Tamashii Nation's Bandai Namco logo. On the left, we just have a little bit of window and then a full body image of the figure and more logos. The bottom, just logos. The right-hand side, we have really nice close-up character image of the figure here. And then around the back, more poses showing the figure with some of the alternate parts. Let's open the box. Got the trusty hobby knife here. I've cut the tape on the right-hand side, and then I'm just going to stick the blade of my knife under the flap, push to the back, give it a gentle little push and a pop, and we got a nice cleanly opened flap on the inside. Just some looks like clouds or smoke as a backdrop, and then behind that is a little instruction booklet. There's not too much to go over here, but it just shows you how to swap the alternate face parts and how the hair fits over them, as well as how to attach the mask, how to change the hands, and just layout of everything included, which is not a ton, so shouldn't take too long to go over everything. 3 pairs of hands, including fists, flat palm hands, and open but clenched hands. He comes with a sort of stern, neutral face. He has an alternate grimace face, and then this half mask accessory as well. And that's it. So not a whole lot going on, but I do think the figure makes up for it in the details, which we'll go over next. Okay, and getting him out of the package. My first observation is he seems a little bit tall. I have a few more figures here for comparison's sake, so let's go ahead and bring them over for size comparison. Naruto and Sakura from Shippuden, SHF Gabimaru and Yuzuriha from Hell's Paradise, another anime that I think this character blends in pretty well with. Not exactly Tenzen design, but kind of Tenzen adjacent, I think. So could work as sort of a mythical being that these characters might encounter on their island adventure. And finally, for some Dragon Ball, the Super Saiyan Full Power Son Goku and Super Buu. Really, really interesting face print. I think this is his avatar state or equivalent thereof. So he has these fiery eyebrows. Obviously, he has some fiery hair and flames coming out of his shoulders and elbows as well. Some orange line work is carried out throughout the figure, and it's done pretty cleanly overall. You can see that it gets a little bit light just on the tip of that shoulder armor piece there. Needed a little bit more coverage with the orange. The fire pieces are soft and fixed to the arm and shoulder on each side. They are soft material, but I wouldn't put too much pressure around the tips just to avoid squishing and breaking them. Black armor painted over the collarbone area and the shoulders, and then around the back. And then the orange line work is continued throughout. The flames do have a bit of a gradient to them as well. They're kind of brighter towards the center and darker red towards the tips, which looks really good. It's a little bit hard to tell what's molded in blue and painted black versus molded in black and painted blue. But the general, like, black, blue with orange lining motif is continued very consistently through the upper body. And overall is a really, really nice looking design. The skirt piece is a soft black plastic with white trim and some gold accents at the little corners here, the belt, and then around the back, a little V at the base. Same for these extended skirt pieces. And then finally we have these ribbons. These appear to be done in a soft black plastic with metallic orange and gold paint. And they look really sharp, really beautiful. I especially love the little diamonds at the end. They're very clean, very nice. Black with gold trim for the knee pads. Blue pants, pretty simple. And then black with gold trim for his boots. You can see a little bit of black poking through the edge of that gold piece there. His head is on a ball hinge connected to the neck, and then another ball peg between the neck and the torso. And he looks up really far, almost completely vertically. Also looks down really well. Double hinge elbow. Goes about 120, 130 degrees. Bicep swivel. Swivel at the shoulders goes out when going back a little bit because of the sculpt of the back, and then doesn't really go straight up because these flame pieces are just attached at the torso. And so if you want them to go up, they need to go out a little bit first. And we'll talk about the butterflies at the end of everything. We'll talk about the butterfly joints last. The wrist is typical Figuarts ball hinge, but gets pretty fantastic range as far as Figuarts ball hinge wrists go. Hinge also goes in and out if you swivel it around. It's like a ball peg between the chest and abdomen, and then another between the abdomen and the waist, which doesn't give a ton of ab crunch. Maybe a little less than 45 degrees, but with the neck can look straight down at the floor. Pretty good. And leaning backwards. It goes back quite far, past 45 degrees, so they must have optimized for that. The skirt and belt are just a single floating piece with each of these tails on an independent swivel joint. So you can get them flowing one way or the other, or all over the place. They do get a little tangled up at the ends if you're not careful about it. And they're just a soft plastic material with this nice orange metallic paint over the top. Its inner skirt flap is on some kind of swivel in there. Same at the back. The hips are drop down ball pegs, and with these pieces moving out of the way, kick up almost to 90 without much protest from the skirt. And as far as front to back, split at the same time, not quite, just because the skirt doesn't want to flex in both directions at the same time. The knee joint is pretty nuts. Looks okay because it has this knee pad, so it doesn't look too blocky or anything because of that. And I mean, they bend, you saw, almost 180 degrees, 170 degrees. Lower legs seem a little long when you do that. And maybe that is the art style. I'm not too sure. There's a thigh swivel, a complete thigh swivel up at the top of the legs here. So those work no problem. They can go in a little bit as well. The ankle joints are swivel hinge, and they go down pretty well past 45. Up a little less. Toe hinge bends about 90 degrees. All right. And let's go ahead and set him up to do the side-to-side articulation. I'll get him as close to a T-pose as I can, but I have a little trouble doing it. Just because of the sculpt of the shoulder. He can't quite raise the arms up all the way. Pseudo T-pose. Of course, his arms are going forward a little bit, but the point here is I just want a straight line this way so you can tell how much he's bending side to side. The neck is where most of the head tilt comes from. There's a little bit from the ball joint between the neck and the head, but mostly between the neck and torso is where the tilt comes, and it's about 45. The torso between both ball joints gets actually most of the tilt in the top of the torso, but a pretty good amount nonetheless. The waist, if there is a swivel in there, I can't get it to move, and it feels like it shouldn't be moving, so you do get a little bit of swivel from the upper torso. The legs can kick out to the side on one side, about 75-80 degrees. And if you combine both legs together, I guess it pushes the skirt up a little bit, and so you can get both legs out to the sides about 75 to 80 degrees, so that's pretty decent split. And then the swivel hinge at the ankle does swivel pretty well, so with the feet flat on the ground, you can get a little bit more ankle pivot if you also use the upper swivel. Finally, he also has a butterfly joint in each shoulder. It's a forward-only design, crosses his wrists, no problem. He can bring the arms pretty much straight up, but does run into these shoulder flames. And that about wraps it up for his articulation. And here you can see him with flat, palm open hands in sort of a fighting ready stance. And something a little more dynamic, we have the sort of open finger clenching hands with the gritting teeth or grimacing face. And I think that looks great as well. And finally, you'll have to let me know what it's called when he wears this half mask, but I'm just going to assume it's his avatar state beyond the avatar state. And seems suitable for some channeling all of my power pose like this. The mask fits pretty well. It just replaces the very front bangs piece, which you can see here. And it's pretty cool. You can actually see his eye through there. Let's get just a little bit more light in there. You can see, and yeah, overall it looks like he is powering up using his ultimate form. Not sure. Very cool piece. Very attractive looking figure. Maybe the series is just a little bit too much of a cult hit at this point, but I've heard a lot of very good things about it. I can't wait to check it out after getting this figure in. But yeah, let me know if you've seen Fog Hill of 5 Elements and what you think. And if not, let me know if this is your first time hearing of it, or keep an eye out for the videos that I talked about at the start coming to my channel very soon. And this has been The Art of Action Figures. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.